And hey, 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 what's going on, world? You already know what it is. It is time for another edition of the New Blurred Order, right here from Blurred Church on a Saturday. You know what it do. And we are happy today to present to you a special guest that we've got in the building. We definitely want to wrap with our guest. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk about who we've got with us. I am your boy. Obviously, it's me, the real Vince Taylor. Shout out to you for being out there and watching. And we are joined by none other than Yas in the building. What's going on, Yas? We've got Steph Word Nerd in the building. What's poppin', Steph? We've even got Mr. Bad Ty in the building. What's up, Ty? And Tippy Starchild is in the house. What's going on, Tippy the Starchild?
Not me, Frozen.
What the look is looking at all that it's doing. And we also have a special guest, everybody. For those, hey, there she is.
Hey.
For those of y'all who are unaware, yes, we've been promoting and we've been letting y'all know that we wanted to be joined today by none other than a man who needs no introduction. Obviously, you've seen him in Luke Cage. You've seen him even in Cowboy Bebop. But he's got an album out right now, and we definitely want to talk about that. Before we get into the works, why don't you go ahead and introduce us, Miss Yvette? Tell them it is what it is. Where you can. All right. Oh, hey, the certificate. My bad. Tiff, we just
I love
looks
the
delicious.
New Blurred Order. You should do.
Let me get all this 10P Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except mine got a name. Got it out the mud, but we got no stains. Cold ass nigga with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. That nigga stay clean, so he always got hoes. Light skinny bitches like.
Alrighty, guys, as I said before, we appreciate you pulling up because we are joined today by none other than a superstar, especially in the nerd realm. We respect and love this man for some of the roles that you've seen him in the past. Like I said, you've seen him in Emancipation, you've seen him in Cowboy Bebop, even alongside my man Michael Coulter in the Luke Cage series, but more importantly, my man is a whole bar specialist, like a wordsmith himself, and y'all gonna learn today. I hope y'all will help me welcome for the first time on the program. It is none other than Mr. Mustafa Shakir, aka Moo. What's going on, man? It's good to see you. How's everything going in your neck of the woods? How's your day going so far, fam?
Oh, my day has been amazing. Got up real early, went for a bike ride downtown, and I fell into a race. It was like it was a whole thing. I was like, what? This is motivation. I wouldn't have had all of this energy if it wasn't for y'all. So that was cool.
Am I to understand that you were bike riding and ended up doing the 5K?
Yeah, more than the 5K actually, but it was nice. It was nice. Didn't expect it, so my day's going great so far.
Okay, cool. Well, man, listen. Again, we are honored. We're completely thrown and happy that you were willing to join us today, man. Especially after it just feels like you busy right now. You know what I'm saying? And with a man as multiple talents like yourself, it's got to be hard to have to choose. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not just anything. You're a whole bunch. You're not only acting in some of these iconic roles, but also you out here spitting, homeboy. Like, you got bars, like, for real. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, I'm curious, like, as a man that has multiple talents, how do you choose which ones you want to put to the forefront? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know when you want to be a rapper or how it is, or when you're going to go ahead and do an act, or do you just do whatever comes in the moment?
Well, yeah, I mean, the latter. I mean, ultimately, you learn through trial and error that things speak in you at different moments in time, and you just flow with that and you find your alignment. And yeah, but obviously, early on, it's just a struggle. You know what I'm saying? You're like, got all these competing voices and shit, So, yeah, but I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
The struggle, I mean, does it wear on you, like, as an artist? Like, man, should I even be putting my energy into this script? when I should be in the studio? Like, does that like mess with you at times, or is it just like trust the process? Trust the process. Move. You got this.
I mean, both, right? I think is always the answer. Both. Like, I trust the process, but also sometimes, you feel called to do one thing when you're doing another thing, and that's just a part of life. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to get it right all the time.
I feel you. You're hard pressed. Is music your first love?
I can't say no. It wasn't. It wasn't. No, I got inspired in a really weird way. It wasn't even like direct. I sort of just fell into it by somebody else. I was 12 years old. Quick story in North Carolina, a white dude by the name of Matthew Pruden, like he turned me on. Everybody's like, "You from New York? You from New York?" After they, asked me to talk so they could hear my accent, they was like, "You need to talk to Matthew Pruden," and they linked us, and I walked over. This guy had like the Coke bottle glasses, but he had bars. He had notebooks of rhymes, and we just became friends and joined a little. I mean, we made a little clique that lasted for like all of 4 months because I was only down there for a year. And but from that moment on, I kept rhyming. I got back to the city, and it was just on and popping. So it was an interesting entrance into hip hop. Like it didn't start like I loved hip hop, but I had to leave New York, go to North Carolina, link with what I'm saying, somebody who was not a typical hip hopian, you know what I mean, to come back and then continue the journey. So
fascinating. Bad time.
Man.
Can you believe?
No, I can't.
Keep
no,
going
I
to
can't.
the Carolinas.
Yeah, I was like, so you went to the Mecca of hip hop, North Carolina. Nah, but that's an interesting story. But I mean, it seems like, because you're not the first guest that we've had that comes from North Carolina, but has roots from North Carolina, but was raised up north. We had another guest that was also that. So I'm starting to see that North Carolina might be that hub. We got J. Cole coming out of there. Is that the new New York?
I mean, they got a big ego down there. You go to Raleigh with Ninth Wonder and everybody, they feel like, and what? You know what I mean? Like, we've been doing it. We will continue doing it. And I'm like, yeah, talk your shit, But yeah, it's popping down in North Carolina and always has. It's just New York overshadowed everybody. This is why everybody hates New York now. But that's another story.
Come on and raise up, take a flag. Like y'all don't know. North Carolina been out here.
Yeah, it's real.
It is.
Yeah.
When I listen to Harlem, the biopic, there's a style that you embody that is true to me, a hip hop head, that I think is worth mentioning. And like you said before, like sometimes these styles are out there, but right now you got to look a little, got to look for them a little more, especially Moo, if you don't mind, when you're doing what I think shouldn't be rare, which is bigging up Black people in your music. Like your music, when you listen to it, it gives you strength as a Black person. Like you're saying constantly things like I told you before. I love the line, "Call me Shaka, not De Niro." You're dropping a lot of historical references in your music. What's the motivation here, man? And like what is it that you would attribute to making that something that should be in your music? And do you think that more of the youngins should do more of this?
I mean, you asked 3 questions in there. So like the first question is. No, that's fine. Well, I feel like a large part of just my growth as an artist or as a human being, more importantly, is reclaiming that which made me and taking off all of the stickers and the banners that have been applied to me. You know what I mean? So like renaming myself. And I feel like in hip hop, and I'm not shitting on anybody because I feel like everything has its place. But people are calling themselves Italian people, anything and everything.
Wow.
But Africa or that which is of melanated persuasion. So I feel like wherever possible, it's time to take the power back. Like I don't want to be a Gambino. Like why? They never say, let me be a, what have you, Nkrumah, you know what I mean? So like, and not that matters. I'm not going tit for tat for them. Big love to the Italians. I love everybody. But for the sake of my own self, I just want to be proud of who I am and where I come from. You know what I mean?
Speak. That's what we need to hear more of, frankly. Does that still, as you portray this positive Black image that we love for people like us, we call ourselves blurs, Black nerds. We notice that we that's who we are. I mean, I hope that's okay.
No, I said I love it. I know. Yeah.
All right,
I'm aware of what blurred means here. I'm on myself.
Because there was a bar. Ty, what's the bar? It was. Go ahead and drop the bar right quick. Because this one right here, I don't know if everybody would catch this.
All right, so I had the pleasure of listening to Masterpiece Theater, and one of the songs, which is I think Golden Child, which is fire, number one. But there's a verse in there that only a specific group will catch, and you say, yeah, I got guns, I got a few, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think
galactic,
it's a good
dimension. I'm queuing the shift. Yeah,
queuing the ship.
I'm queuing the ship, and as soon as I heard that, as a person who is a Trekkie, I was like, hold on a second. I know he didn't just drop that and think that was gonna go over my head. I was like, yo,
that's what it's about. The Easter eggs, man. Like I live for the Easter egg. You know what I mean? So if you pay attention, I'm burying them everywhere. Like that's why I do it, because that's the part that haunts me. You know what I mean?
Myself, I'm not a Trekkie, but seeing the enjoyment y'all got from that, that was real nice.
Oh, child,
yeah. I screamed.
Right.
I screamed out. I was like, hold up, yo, because again, we talk about this all the time, man. Especially on this show, is being a blur, but also being part of the urban community. You know what I'm saying? Like it's those two don't always line up. You know what I'm saying? So it's usually a conflict. So when you hear somebody who embodies the urban community with the rap style and everything like that, but then being able to implement these little Easter eggs for the culture, for the blurs, that, you know what I'm saying? When I heard that, I was like, this was already fire, but you just really just got a fan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just became a fan in that moment, man. I just want to hear.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
What you say?
I was just saying, I wanted to hear when you came up with that bar, and you know what I'm saying, because that is a huge bar. When you came up with that bar and you was like, I'm gonna throw this in here. I bet you ain't nobody gonna. I know you was like, I bet you ain't nobody gonna catch this.
I mean, I know that if I'm out there, there's at least. I mean, if I'm here, it's at least another one out there. So it's for them. You know what I mean? For you, for whoever can catch it.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, the thought behind it was like, everybody's always talking about how dangerous they are. You know what I mean? And I was like, how do you talk about being dangerous without being like as literal and overt and like kind of crude, quite honestly? So I was like, how do I'll fuck you up interdimensionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't mess with my quantum skills, like,
man.
That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Steph?
I have so many things I'd like to ask. I'm going to keep it to 2 questions for the sake of time. But first off, I was familiar with your work as an actor. Vince put me onto your music. Very, very much my vibe. I love Rap Genius. I'm super into the Easter eggs like you were talking about. So when I hear something new that I love, the first thing I want to do is go online and figure out like, ooh, what does this mean? What are the theories? So to have you here that I can directly ask you is very exciting. One of the first lines that really stood out to me hugely was on His Eyes. You said, they say tell the truth or the people can't feel you. And that lines up so much with our philosophy here, because Vince says in every single episode, be your authentic self. If you're not being your true self, you're being fake. So I'm really interested in hearing, as a Black man who's clearly very much for the culture, from Harlem, also a graduate of the New School, a vegan, a performer, how have you found it rewarding and or challenging to be your authentic self in this industry?
Wow. That's a big one. Wow. People say it's a great question. People say, like, where'd you go to school for acting? And I was like, well, life. you know, because you have to. I was like, that's the best school. Like Yale couldn't tell me nothing, because yeah, and that's a large part of technique. You got to know your audience, right? And so I've spent and a lot of Black people understand that in terms of wearing a mask, but you know, you move accordingly. But when it comes down to the thing that with me is I never compromise my integrity, so I don't feel any way about playing to audiences. You know what I mean? But yeah, there comes a time when, like, you know, some of the real slips out, and you just got to be okay with that. I feel like a part of my own like journey has been to lead with that and let people be more uncomfortable in some spaces. It's a time for that now. Like you can't do that the entire time. Like, so anybody out there, you can't just come in the door with your guns out. You got to come in the door, see what's there, survey the scene, go back, draw up your blueprints, and then, you know, strategically come with your guns out. But you know, that, you know, figuratively saying that, yeah, just showing up like in spaces where they would normally be not so keen to see me the way that I truly am, and I've been doing that, you know, here and there. But yeah, it is a struggle. It's not something that comes supernaturally, you know. It does come supernaturally, but that's another.
Hey, I was about to say.
But you know, yeah. So I'm gaining more comfort in that regard, you know, because there's a lot of levels to me, you know. As you talked about that conflict between being in a urban environment and being like, you know, about it, a thinker, you know, and sort of navigating that. Yeah. So, you know, to be continued.
I love it.
Actually, to continue to follow up on that, just in line with you being such a multifaceted individual, another one of the lines that really, really stood out and stuck with me was, I needed a nurse, but got a notebook. And you also talk later about, I don't want to misquote the exact line, but about like using metaphors and allegories to be heard when people are ignoring what you're saying. And that really resonated with me as well. So I'd just love to hear anything you want to share about your journey of using art to express yourself, and how, as you know, a Black man in this world where mental health is often not prioritized for us, and especially for y'all, music might have been an outlet in that way.
Yeah, it always has been. Like, it started with poetry without beats, you know. It was a way that, and it happened. I can't even tell you like there was some specific moment. I really can't, you know, recall at this moment in time. But I knew that every time something major would come up emotionally, like, I could write it down, or I could write something, and I could feel that catharsis happen through it. And so it just became the way to deal with things. And growing up in Harlem in the you know 80s, 90s, where it was cray all the time, like I found myself with lots of work because I was constantly transmuting all of this stuff that was coming through. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's that line right there. I needed a nurse, but I got a notebook. I mean, if I was in the white community, I would have been in therapy like from 11 on. You know what I mean? They would have been taking care of me. But there's just, you know, it's like somebody was even talking about this the other day. Like, you get 14 years old as a Black male, and if you sprout up too high, or even if you don't, like, you're a man now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now we're threatened by you. We don't want to help you. Like, this is all this stuff that ultimately does affect your mental health. So like, my only outlet was art. Wow. You know, to really say the things that were going on in me. And I felt like even in that, I found myself being real cryptic. You know what I mean? Like, when I read back over things, because yeah, I was figuring it out, you know. But I'm grateful because I did figure out quite a bit of things through that process.
You know, it's so powerful to listen to a powerful, well-renowned Black man speak about the necessities of mental health and what it is that you do therapeutically to keep yourself, you know what I'm saying, from having to deal with the ills of the world, especially this country, if I could keep it real. I feel like you also specifically are able to channel that into your acting. Like, you know, some of the roles that I know you for are strong Black men roles. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it speaks to who you are. Do you do you keep that into consideration when auditioning for roles or when being considered for roles? Like, listen, I need to be portrayed, or we need to portray black men as such. Otherwise, I'm not interested. Or is there nothing that you're
More and more. That's again, like, you can't just go through the front door with the gun out at first. You know what I mean? Like, you won't make it very far. They won't be asking you any questions about what you want. You know, your preference won't matter. But, you know, as I continue down the you know, in the journey and gaining more, I don't know, pull power exactly, or, you know, et cetera. Yeah, that's totally it. It's like, if we're not, you know, creating images that spark a feeling of empowerment in people, or just, you know, catalyst for them to think, I don't, like, what am I doing? You know, what am I doing?
Right.
So that's super important for me. I feel like there's been a certain level of serendipity in terms of the roles that I've gotten, and I feel like, and many other actors who talk about this, like, some roles reflect you in a way that you don't know, and you learn about yourself through that. But a lot of them are reflections of character that you already kind of are in touch with. And so, like, I feel like the stronger you are in touch with those things, the more you'll see that reflected in your career. And I feel like that is what you are talking about, you know, in a lot of regards. It's trippy, actually, when you get to it.
But it works out. Okay, go ahead.
I'd love to lean in that just a little bit more, real quick. Just this idea of knowing when to pull your guns out. Is there a specific moment or moments that, as your platform and influence have grown, that you've been able to kind of push for the culture in anything that you're working on?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's been a lot of little moments, but the most recent one, and I think that since we've already talked about it, was Emancipation. They sent me the script for it, and they were like, "We want you to read for this particular role," and I read it. And I was like, the script itself was just so amazingly written that I was pulled. But like, when I got to the dude that they wanted me to play, I was like, damn. You know, like, you read a little bit more, I see, and I was like, no. And then I was like, Will Smith, you know, Antoine Fuqua. I was like, yeah, I trust the universe. I can't do it. I ain't gonna be able to do it. And so I told my reps that, and they told the casting director, and blew my mind. They were like, so which role could you see yourself playing?
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
I was like, okay, jumping and that will appear. Other than Peter.
Oh, okay. He's one of us. Other
than Peter, there's this other character, you know, Caillou, but I already researched him, and he's supposed to be like biracial and all this stuff, right? So I was like, I don't know if that fits into your narrative, but 2 emails later, and it was like, no, put yourself, you know, you can do Caillou. And so, yeah, and it was just like that. And so then when, you know, like, everything that he stands for, I was just like, yes, I have no problem being in a slave movie if this is the depiction. Because, you know, you can't be so picky that you take yourself out the game. You got to change the game from within the game. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's one of the downfalls of being like a revolutionary. You can revolutionary yourself right on the sidelines and not doing nothing. You got to be more viral and get in the system and infect. So wherever I can do that, and that was a good example of it. And me sticking to my guns, if you will, and it worked out, I think. You know,
I'm glad that did. Bad tie.
Yeah.
Look, man, Mustafa, I'm about to get a little personal. I'm not. I hope this doesn't get too personal. But I know in the 70s and the 80s, it was tough in Harlem. You know, growing up, that was an era when it was the get money era. It was a lot of drugs. There was a lot of stuff going on. Who were the integral parts of keeping you out of those mixes and keeping your head level and on a swivel? Who were the most integral parts in your life? You know, coming up.
I mean, I got to give it. You know, I got to give up. You know, credit to Spirit overall. You know, whatever you call it. You know, God, Yahweh, but I've always felt guided. You know, and I wasn't immune to any of that stuff. I had my run-in with with crack, but then through that running, I saw where I was going. And I've always been astute enough to put, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, X, Y. I was able to figure out things and learn from other people's mistakes. And so I just saw like some of my favorite dudes like blow up and become empowered and pedestaled, and then in front of us all just be decapitated. And I was like, yeah, I see that 2 or 3 times and like, I'm good. You know what I mean? So, and then there was moments where I tried to touch things because, desperation will lead you there. And I was not immune to that. But like my hand would get smacked by the unseen hand. And I would be like, oh, I can't even, oh, that was so loud. I can't ignore these prompts and these cues. So it was a lot of that, and being a blurred myself, like I was in school, the teachers they noticed me. And for whatever reason, I always had like 1 teacher or 2 teachers that would be like, tell them about that program or something. So I was like, they were inviting me to these Upward Bound programs and these like summer camps. And like after a while, I saw it like, okay, this is a long journey. Like I can't get fast money, but they feed me. There's a lot of pretty girls around. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a good environment. Like so I would do my school thing real hard, but then, I come back to the block, get a little dirt on me, but there was always something that was calling for me, you know what I mean? And I try to bring my, my boys and friends in, and, they wouldn't. And I seen how that affected them. And that just was more inspiration. I was like, I'm no different than y'all. So if that's happening to you, it's going to happen to me. And, it was just various little things. But I really think between, God's guidance, however you want to, put it, my own discernment, and like teachers along the way helping me out, I just sort of like stayed away. And there was obviously moments where, it could have gone way, way, way worse, but it did. It did.
I'm glad you did. Real quick, let me get this time. So as a blurred yourself, I mean, it's gotta be like mind melting when you get to work in a project that you saw in a comic book, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, or when you get to work in an anime. I'm wondering, like, when you did get to seal this role as Jet, which is would be one of my favorite animes. I'm just gonna keep it 100%. Did it throw you off, or were you already expecting the bullshit backlash from playing Jet, and the folks, because you know how it is. We know how it is in the United States. Like folks is always, the race swap, blah, blah, blah. Did you weather it well? Was it a surprise? Was it not even that big of a deal?
No, I mean, fortunately, unfortunately for me, like I got so much love for Jet.
Yes,
like, they were every article was like, this shit is a dumpster fire except for Jet Black. Like it kept happening. So like while I was like, oh man, our baby is going down in flames, like, they weren't saying bad, stuff about me. So, that was kind of helpful. But yeah, like, and I think, I liked it, and I love the anime, the original,
Yes.
I mean, obviously there were some things that could have been tightened up, but I feel like that was what the second season was for. So I was like, y'all crazy. That's what I thought. I was like, cognitive dissonance. I'm not, Yeah,
man, that was crazy. And for Luke and for Bushmaster as well. Like, is there any if I, being regular old me, gets any type of opportunity to work on these projects, I think I'd hit the ceiling as a blurred. Like, it's not just an acting gig. It's like, hold on, I'm representing the culture, and this shit came out. Like, does it hit you like that too, bro?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, I have this thing where, like, for the longest time, I'm just starting to like research directors. Like, I just focus on what's in front of me and don't think about anything else. And then once I break through, then I allow it to hit me. But like, when it finally it took, I had like 2 callbacks and I waited 2 weeks before they gave me a phone call. And I mean, I had already gotten it, but it was after the phone call when I hung up is when like, I just sort of went full tard, like, in the middle of the room, like on my knees, like, like fully like. But like that's it. That's also the hood for you. You know, it's like delayed gratification. You know what I mean? Looking around waiting for the shoe to drop. But yeah. I mean, it's yeah. It goes without saying. It's just been a major, high for me. Being able to play characters like that because it's like it's in the lexicon. It's forever that now. And so that's cool.
Yeah. Canon. And I mean, I would make a snarky comment about you being from Harlem, but beating up Harlem's superhero. But we'll leave
Irony,
that
right?
one for speculation.
That's because I didn't get that role. That's why. I should have been Luke Cage. I was kidding.
All right, Todd. Just a little bit more.
This is my last question. Mustafa, a lot of people may not know this, but you auditioned for the roles of Black Lightning and also Word Nerd Steph's favorite character, M'Baku. So when I'm hearing this and I see the kind of passion that you have for Jet Black, I've heard you the whole interview talk about how much of a blurred you are, but we have not really connected with that blurredom. Like we need to know like who's your favorite characters within the Marvel universe, DC universe. I mean, who did you grow up like? Yo, this is my dude right here. Who was it?
Like I had a weird entrance, right? So like the things that are subconsciously like I'm most attached to are not the normal interest point. So I started with Alpha Flight, right? And
okay,
like, that was I know, right? And I was like, the twins were my favorite. They were like not like I was like, it was so I had a weird interest. And then from Alpha Flight, Spider-Man obviously came into the mix, and then like because I was doing this by stealing my brother's comic books, and then he had like Marvel Universe. Marvel Universe was my I mean, you know what I mean? Like just going through, I think I studied everybody's strength and their powers and their speeds, and like it got pretty deep. But yeah, so the things that when I think about like my love and my first beginnings, like my my comfort blanket, it's Alpha Flight. You know what I mean? I know. Every time I tell people that, they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
That is a fascinating one.
Yeah.
It's certainly appreciated. We don't have all day, unfortunately, this particular time. But we're hoping you'll come back. Yes, is it quick? Yes, because my man got money. He's got a time crunch. Quickly.
Moo, I just want to know,
we got 10 minutes if you know, like.
Oh, okay. Moo, I just want to know, since you were stealing your brother's Marvel comic books, who is your favorite, and who did you inspire? Like what power did you want? You know what I'm saying? Because every kid I'm just gonna let you know mine's flying. I want Storm's power. I want the weather. I'm Mother Nature, totally, like 100%.
Yeah, I'm the mashup guy, man. Like I wanted all like flying, obviously, but I love like Rogue's power. I love the idea of like tasting different things. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like there is. I'm like a hodgepodge for sure. I can relate to the Hulk. Totally.
Hey.
Yeah. I was like, mild mannered, but like,
who's gonna be in the party talking about, hey, buddy, touching the shoulders and stuff, like just like, yo, watch this.
So,
go ahead, Steph.
Oh, I was just clipping. That's all.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's crazy, man. I mean, so when you get to like you jump up and down, you get on set. Now it's happening. Now you're seeing other superheroes like you on set as well, and I can just assume that. I mean, I saw there's a picture of you and Michael kind of batting around. I mean, y'all still keep in touch. I mean, everything's still good.
Like the funny thing is, man, we actually, because you be cool with people during projects, and then you still cool, but it tapers off. But nah, me and Mike, it's like we talk every day, damn near. Through memes and shit. It's like, we got a meme relationship.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it's every day because social media is every day. So just about Mike's cool.
That's dope, man. I am curious about this. So you did on the Luke Cage set. There's so much stuff that goes on, and I don't want to dwell too much on just this Cage. But unfortunately, such a monumental show with such huge acts, one of which is no longer with us. I don't know if you had an opportunity to work with my man, but did you have any experience here? Was there anything that we don't know?
With him?
Yeah. Oh my God! I see my screen is
It's
messing.
Kathy, Reggie Kathy.
Yeah, but yeah, Kathy,
Yes,
he's left us. I mean, is there anything that happened that I feel like his like that we should know, because he seemed like a quiet man, but he did such big things, and you were on set too, right?
Yeah, man. I got a cool story with him, but like, yeah, he was a powerhouse. One of those like Gene Hackman kind of actors, like been in everything, destroying it, but like, not the level of Denzel fame. But funny enough, it was him passing that I realized that I had gone to high school. When I went down to North Carolina for 10th grade, and I went to high school with his I believe it's his granddaughter. Yeah, and had a crush on her, and we and I was chasing her around. I was like, "Remain is yo, oh shit!" I had to hit her up. Like, how you know Reggie was your, funny enough.
Funny.
Real quick, this last one. I know you said you only had a few more minutes, so we definitely want to respect that. But in addition to him, I really am curious about the exchange that went on when you met one of who I think is a certified blurred as well, and also a huge hip hop influence, to Cal. And did you drop a bar for him? Why am I picturing you being like, yo, Meth? Remember, and then just giving him one of his verses like PLO style,
No, I have this weird thing where I never tell rappers that I rap. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a stupid rule. It's subconscious. I'm working on it. But like, yeah. So Method Man probably doesn't know I rap at all. But we had great exchanges. We had like deep exchanges, talked about marriage and how long he's been with his wife, and the pros and cons of all of it. Yeah, he gave me a Wu-Tang name. What's it? The Irate Professional.
Irate
Professional. Yeah. Meth is cool as shit, man. Let me say that. Big shout out to Method Man, one of the like warmest, present people that I've ever met in the industry. Like, yeah, he'll spoil. You think it's all like that? It ain't. You know what I mean? He's definitely a gem.
The Irate Professional?
The Irate Professional, yeah.
No, there's no story. Like, that's quite a particular name.
They have a generator, like a Wu name generator based on something.
Oh, okay.
And so based on that, mine was Irate Professional. And so I was like, that makes perfect sense. I
was like, did you get irate with Cliff? Okay. And my last question is another soul that we lost too soon was Michael K. And I see you did some work with the man. What's something about him that we should know that we don't?
I met Michael when I was 18. I used to be a barber. Well, you're once a barber, always a barber. But I made my dough make it. It was as a barber. And I worked at Gerard DeRay's salon, which had, in hindsight, was like the mixture of like barbershop and fame together. And like literally I've met so many industry people that will come through there. But anyway, Mike, I met there, and he used to come down on like Fridays, and like after it was time to clean up, we'd all jump in the car and go clubbing, you know what I'm saying, dancing. And he used to dance with like all the, like, I believe it was like Madonna and Janet Jackson and all that stuff. So like, I met him as a dancer. But then he turned out to do this play called Endangered Species, which was like, it was the Hamilton of Harlem at the time, that level of importance. And I went to see him, do this role. And I remember I wasn't acting yet. And I remember thinking, I need to go ahead and do this. It was because of Michael K. I was watching him and Gano Grills, which he doesn't act as much now. But he's also part of the Wu-Tang. He does all that artwork and stuff. But I went to see them do the play, and I was like, I need to do this. And I wound up doing that play 2 years later, funny enough, in the lead role. It was from that moment. But yeah, man, working with him again, he's just, I mean, his journey was insane. Like from when I met him to what he became, and it like we was like struggling in the you know, struggling hard. Like everybody was scraping for what, you know, their scraps, and he just burst through. You know, nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. Not in that regard, but yeah, Mike, I love him, man. You know, he did his thing. You know, you can't be sad for when it's time to go, but like, yeah, he made his mark, and you know, I'm proud of him. Yeah.
Steph, please.
A final support and admin question. I found and enjoyed your music on Apple Music, but it didn't look like it had all of the album. I would love to hear the rest of it. So where can we find your music? Where would you prefer that we buy your music? You know, I mean, what's the spot that's going to give you the best feedback and royalties? And how else can we in our community support your work?
Well, tell somebody. I'll go from the end to the end. Like tell people, you know, if you love it and you feel like somebody would dig something too, just, you know, spread the word that way. The album actually drops on August 28th. So that's why all of the songs are not there. You can, and all these links are on IG. So you can go to Bandcamp and buy it for like $7, and that's best for me. But you know, it streams on every other platform that there is available. After the 28th, everything will be available there. I think that's it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Same here on the 28th.
Yes, and you already got 5 sales at bare minimum. I can guarantee you that right here. Yeah, man, we are fully in support of our Blurred family, man, and we consider you a part of this, even if it's distant cousin wise right now. We're gonna get you the cookout one of these days, but it's all to the good. So unless there's anything else, we gotta let Moo get back to making the money, man, and being the influencer that he is. I just want to say this last piece. This is not a question, this is a comment. I hope that you are aware of how influential and impactful you are as an entity to exist in the realm of Blurred and still spit like you spit, to still be able to rep the culture, not take no bullshit, force your way in to show us what's going on. But also, man, with your roles, I don't know if as a Blurred, you're already fully aware that now because you took these roles, we can cosplay as characters that we loved growing up that didn't look like us. You know what I'm saying? And to see a season 2 with a whole black cast. I just want if you have not heard it yet, you need to hear from us that we see you, we appreciate the shit out of you. And our lives are better with you repping the way that you do, homeboy. So, man, big ups to you for repping for the culture. Thanks so much for blessing us with a little bit of your time. I don't know, you know, if we made you comfortable enough for you to ever come back and give us 30 more minutes, you know, I would definitely
come back, man. You guys were amazing. I love your energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, for sure.
Would you?
Say what?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Please. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Like, I mean, that's generally it. I mean, it was cool to come rock with y'all. I love what you're doing. Great questions. You know what I mean? Keep going. And thank you for the affirmation. All that shit counts.
Would you be so kind? Our group's called the New Blurred Order. Would you be so kind, since you feel so cool about us, to say something nice about us so that we can like have this moment forever?
Of course. Of course.
Okay, the New Blurred Order. All right, you know what?
Listen, it's all about the New Blurred Order. Like, think up, think out, be yourself, express yourself, and this is what they're doing. I'm in love. Thank you.
Hey, well, listen, man.
On that last note before you leave,
come on, show it, yes. We did a little something right quick.
I made you something to go along with your inspiration.
Oh wow!
It's an official New Blurred Order shirt, so that way you can be a part of the crew with us. I just got to get your deets. Just Vince or I will hit you up to get the location of where you want us to mail it. But you're officially part of the crew.
That's so dope. Thank you guys. Yeah.
I said we're gonna send it to Harlem.
Yeah, you got to.
All right, man. Let's let Mr. Moo move. Thanks again, man. Thank you all again for
Thank
joining.
you.
Don't go to where everybody. We're gonna go ahead and let Moo go. But thank you all for tuning in to his interview. Mr. Moo's gonna go ahead and check off one last time. And we will continue to talk a little bit about what just happened, because I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Moo was a cool ass motherfucker, bro, and it was cool to be able to rap with him for a little bit. Steph, pull up with the questions. What's up, Steph?
Yaz, that shirt was dope. I just want to take a minute to give Yaz her flowers because that was amazing. That was very cool.
Yeah, man. We tried to, do a little something for the boy. You know what I'm saying?
That was Vince's and my creation. We meshed together, so I got to give my flowers to my man, and give due where it's due. But yeah, that was a collab. We decided to make sure that we stuck through it real quick. So
but I couldn't do it without Yaz, and that's the beauty of us as a team, is that we all kind of we're we all have different parts of the body, and we each make up a part, you know what I'm saying? And we can't function fully without fully functional body parts. All right, that analogy just it sounds really weird saying it out loud. You know what I'm saying? So, but not to stay here too long, because we ain't gonna do the whole show right now. But could we at least talk about what we just learned? Like, what do we take away from this interview? I personally learned that he auditioned for M'Baku. I didn't know about that, man.
He actually interviewed for the role of Black Lightning, so he could have been Black Lightning, or he could have been Steph's love interest, M'Baku. He could have, I'm sure the thighs wouldn't have been thigh-ing like they do.
I don't know. Have you seen his dances? I don't know. Check out Instagram. Check out his dances. I don't know. He got thighs. He got thighs and boobs.
Baby.
No. What did we not get to ask him that we may have wanted to ask him? What's up, Steph?
You mentioned marriage. Are you married, or like what's your situation? So I was trying to be professional, but
were you?
Steph me.
The people would not for me. I'm sure the fans want to know.
Listen, that's for round 2, Steph. That's for round 2 when we have more time. All right.
Tiffy, it was interesting seeing you react to us in our Star Trek bars. So are you officially gonna watch a little bit of Star Trek now? I don't know. You don't have to answer that. I just
I'm not an anti. I think I would probably get into Star Trek more than I would Star Wars, to be honest, because like Star Trek was always just on. Yeah.
Hold on, hold on. Let us hear.
Yeah, I don't know, because Star Trek, like there's some familiarity. Then like that was one that was always on in the house, so it was on in the background. And with the recent movies, they're not terribly recent now, but more recent than most. But the Star Trek movies with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto and things like that, I've seen those, and I've still seen nothing of Star Wars that has stuck. Like, and that's just my. Don't act shocked. I feel like we've had this conversation.
I feel like there's a disdain for Star Wars in your household right now, and we need to talk about this.
I'm not sure why. We just weren't a Star Wars household. Okay. I have a lot of friends that are big Star Wars heads, and they all have this reaction. I've been to one watch party where we tried to watch some of the Star Wars, but my old nemesis Tequila was present.
Did you fall asleep?
Tequila would be a Sith Lord
for my life. Growing up, my entire internal organs. It was so bad, and I have no recollection of that movie.
So this might be why you don't watch Star Wars, because like your only memory of it is you getting sick off tequila. You see what I'm saying?
And I'm just so triggered, and I'm like, and I'm like, it means something different for me. I would do it again, though. In fact, I'm gonna write it down because I'm taking notes for what I want to start for my Patreon. I would do watch parties. And like a Star Wars watch party could be a fun thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Let us be involved. And listen, I for one have gone past like the vitriol reaction that Yaz had public, like outwardly, is the same I used to when people used to talk about stuff. I get it. Now it's a little easier to accept because the world's so vast. When it was just movies, I was kind of like, all right, come on, man, but now it's gotten a lot deeper. So we'll get into that.
And I know that we can't talk about it, but if there was a series I was going to jump in on and want to watch, it'd be Ahsoka. And that's why other weeks I've asked, I was like, what do I need to know to catch up?
Okay.
It's Rebels and Clone Wars. You got to watch Rebels and Clone Wars are the two things. But just keep in mind, Tiffy, they're 30-minute episodes, and Clone Wars has like 7 seasons or something like that. It's got a lot of seasons. And
my power of catching
up. Yes, like what a sales pitch. Like, by the way,
I'm gonna warn her.
And at the end of the day, I might just jump into it raw.
Ooh, hey, that's the best way to go. That's the best way to go. Best way to go.
All right,
I have a question though, Tavi. Like, as an actress, and being in theater like you are, do you like productions? Because I know this may be a stupid question, but I don't know. But do you like productions that have that like portray the theater side of it, like that give you like the musicals, the like
Hamlet and shit like that?
Yeah.
Are you asking what type of theater I prefer, like musical theater versus like straight plays?
I think he's asking like if you like musicals in theater, like in a movie theater.
Yeah, like basically. I guess it'd be better to do this. There's a series. I won't say the name of the series, but the series does have these moments where it becomes theater production. It becomes more of a theater production. So everybody, even though it is an actual series or television series or whatever, the production goes from television series to actual theater production. And I'm curious, are you interested?
Well done, Ty. Well done.
Yeah,
well done, friend. I see what you did there.
I personally am not like pressed either way when it comes to things like that. Like I don't prefer it or not prefer it, but what you described, and I know you're probably being vague for a reason, but that sounds interesting. I would watch that.
Okay.
Well,
good.
we'll talk off the air.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat right now.
Right. Then we will plug you in.
So you know what that like kind of just reminded me of when you were like describing that to Tiffy. Have you guys seen the After Party on Apple TV?
Yes,
I have. Yeah.
Okay, so Tiffy, if you haven't, check out like the first couple of episodes, like the first 2 or 3, and see if you like it, because that's how they kind of start out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got
I tried.
A little bit there.
I'll give anything a try.
That shit is funny. It's funny as hell though.
I can watch Shorzy. I hear about this later. If I could watch Shorzy, I could watch anything.
Shorzy?
Oh my God, you're not.
Look. All right, let's get Tiffy out of this. I forgot to. Here's a question that I didn't get to ask. He did a song with India Arie, and I wanted to ask him what it was like to work with India Arie.
Me too.
I wanted to ask if because I ain't gonna lie, one of the things that I took away the most was his the Steph question that led to him telling what happened on Emancipation was profound. That was
fire
profound.
question. Fire questions.
I wanted to apologize too, Bad Ty, for keeping going. I knew you had a thing, but he gave a lot of general answers, and I was like, I really want something specific that feels unique to this moment. So I was like,
don't apologize to me, Steph. Steph, listen, I live for your questions. I'm not even going.
Yes.
I'm not going to hold you.
Yeah.
Never whenever you're here, I will take the back seat happily, because I know the questions.
And over here, like, all right, FMK.
No. Look, this is what I know. When Steph pulls up with the notepad,
Yes.
It's about to be a good day, goddammit.
about
When
to be
Steph
a
got
good
the
day.
She did her homework.
when
It's
she
definitely
got
going
the
down.
notepad, Tiffany, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, get the fuck back.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a whole
a
Oprah
beautiful
moment.
thing.
There's a
a beautiful
whole
thing.
60 minutes. We ready. And when I saw this, I was like,
We
I-
all
if Ty was here.
contribute is what's important. I contribute vibes.
Tiffany, you do way more than that. Come on
Yeah,
now.
you
I just want to know, what were you eating?
Yeah, what was
No, thank you. It was an acai bowl, and that shit was, I was fucking it up.
I know, like I was watching
not
you
gonna
eat
eat
it, and you
on-
were just like, you were trying not to make the
because I was
watched
not going to eat on camera. That was not my intention. But when you put my face up there, I'm accidentally right mid bite. I'm like, fuck it, we're here now. Like I might as well just eat my breakfast since that's what we're
Tiffany's
doing.
over here like this, just like.
I swear, I do be forgetting sometimes that Tiffany's
It's
on the
so
West
funny.
Coast. She's 3 hours behind us.
Yes.
And I be forgetting sometimes. She said breakfast. I was like, I said, oh shit, that's right.
Yes. I was like, I wasn't gonna eat, but I'm just like, this is delicious. I'm about to just enjoy my breakfast.
Delicious.
And
I'm
listen
not-
to this man, I'm like, yeah, tell us more.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. When I was looking at you eating it, I was like, is that mashed potatoes and gravy? Like, what is that? Like, I was trying to figure it out.
No, it was an acai bowl, and it had like bananas and I think I was
Strawberries?
it had bananas, strawberries, lots of shredded coconut and honey. It was good. It was
Oh,
all my
damn.
fruit.
lost
I'm
my
pretty
coconut.
quick, yeah.
It
I
absolutely
had a
is.
breakfast burrito the
It
other
was
day.
very smooth too. It was very
It
smooth.
was nice
was.
and melty. It was the perfect amount of honey. And then I think I'm a sweetened shredded coconut girl now.
Oh, man.
Let me find out. Okay. Couple things that I was going to ask, and then we'll let everybody go ahead and get up out here and enjoy our days. And for those watching, whether you watching live or on the replay, thank you again. Make sure you hit. Oh yeah, listen to us on the actual, like, our podcast numbers are picking up. Believe it or not, and I like. One of my biggest flaws is not paying any mind to the audio portion of it. Like, I just look at us as a TV show. I ain't gonna leave it. But Ty has been giving us the numbers. He's been keeping track of the numbers on audiobook.
Steadily on the rise. Steadily on the rise.
And so the Spotify numbers. What I think Apple Podcasts was the one that looks like it's like picking up. So for those listening, thank you for listening. Tell a friend, man. That's where it's got to be. I got to start putting more info investment
I'm
into
telling everybody when I go places, I'm like, yo, like.
But see, I normally say YouTube, Yaz, and I got to start being like Spotify and Apple.
See, but I say all of it though. I'm like, we're on all platforms that you can stream a podcast, and people are like, really? And I'm like, if you look us up, I'm like, Google the New Blurred Order. I was like, there's more than 7 different places you can stream the New Blurred Order. I'm like, please check us out, and like that's a big thing. We stream it all over the place, dog. We in this bitch.
I love it. So I didn't get to ask him who his top 5 dead or alive hip hop artists were. That was something that I was interested in. I think he would have enjoyed that question. I would have, if we had time, I would have done top 5 dead, then top 5 alive. But we lost that time. And then the other one was when is this rap process involve any medicinal products of sorts?
Yes. You can check his Instagram and it will show you the answer.
But see, some people are closeted medicinal participants. You know what I'm saying? And some people are outward medicinal participants.
Those who live in illegal states. Those who live in illegal states are the closeted ones. Those who live in illegal states are the ones that are not closeted.
Well, no, when you're in the industry, okay,
yeah, that's true.
You may not want to put that type of, you may not, there may be some projects that, they don't
be excluded from because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't want to put him on blast. I had it on my sheet, but I was like, if he's like, I'm there with y'all for the whole, I was like, nah, all right, that went back. So those are my and another one about John Cho and what it was like to work with.
Yeah, he's got the second music video on there. It's literally his hang. Look on his page. The second music video, him like in the shower or something like that.
He's definitely.
I mean, I guess if he was doing,
got one like this big hanging out of his mouth. It's like fucking.
Yeah.
But you could always say, "Oh, that was."
Listen. Snoop has changed the perspective of most Hollywood. I mean, if him and Martha Stewart can sit on their show, I'm just saying.
Did you know they made them into elves on a shelves as well? You can get a Snoop. You can get a Snoop and a Martha little elf on the shelf. They're fucking adorable, by the way.
Yeah,
No, I did not know.
You gotta check that shit out. It's funny.
I would definitely look into
Gotta
that.
get a Snoop on a stoop.
Speaking of Stoop, you know, this is making my lungs mighty hungry. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, man, so we can talk some stuff next week. From those of y'all at home, from you and your phones, from you and your cars, whatever, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure y'all go hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the follow button, YouTube, Instagrams, and the Facebooks, and everything else, Twitch, Twitter, or is it Twitter? What is it, X now? I heard it's like an X
Twitter. I only acknowledge Twitter.
It's still Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Yep, it's mama called on Twitter, so I'm gonna call on Twitter. Goddamn, that's what the fuck it is. And be your authentic self, as we always say. On behalf of myself, Steph, Tiffy, Yaz, Bad Ty, as well as Nolly, Omar.
I'm sorry, Drake.
Oh, my bad,
Yeah.
Bad
No.
Drake.
You the sexy Drake. Let's get this right.
As well as Tyrone and all others who have definitely grazed us. We just want to say thank you for pulling up and be your authentic self. If you ain't being yourself, you're being fake. And since today was a little shorter, why don't you use the rest of your time to check out some of our other YouTube videos? Just youtube.com/The New Blurred Order. Go ahead, write a comment, and we will respond maybe if it's good enough. And like I said, be yourself. You're not being fake. And if you're a geek, go ahead. If you're a geek like Boo, then let that geek flag fly. And since this is the end of the show, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go out on one of the Black Soup on Mustafa, aka Moo, aka Effortless song from his album. Here it is.
I'm a black superhero. I'm a black superhero. I'm a black superhero. I'm a black superhero.
It's that iceberg slim, Nikki Giovanni, Shaft in the black Cadillac right behind me. Nat Turner with a burner fine from the pews. Harriet in the chariot, never miss a cue. Running fools out the room, make them lose their shoes. Mississippi Delta putting tussin' on our blues. Too cool for school, we do for true. We knew the news before dude could move. I caught him in his chest like cuckoo could chew. Lottie-dottie, this body laid out his crew. Mommy's kamikaze, blades out the womb. Harikari, not sorry, made out of doom. I side with the homie, call me if opportune. Pray like Islamis, embalm me in the tomb. It ain't hard to find me, my mind be in bloom. Assign me the boom, my kind be a loom. I'm not a murderer, but call me Shaka, not the Nimrod.